Paul McGuire Grimes, KSTP, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Daniel, it is so great talking to you today. Congratulations on the Golden Globe nomination, the SAG nomination this morning. Your performance is just truly incredible. So thank you so much for taking this on.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Now, did I hear correctly that Ryan Coogler, who directed you in Black Panther and is producing this, took you aside and specifically asked you to take this on? And if so, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, Black Panther reshoot, Ryan and Zinzi Coogler put me to the side and spoke to me about it and said they were making this film. Shaka King's directing it, Lakeith's a part of it, and wanted me to play Chairman Fred Hampton. I thought it was a huge honor. You know, it was a huge honor. I felt really taken aback. And it was a privilege.
Was there something that you learned about Fred Hampton along the way that surprised you or stuck out to you that you really didn't know about him?
I think his orchestration of the Rainbow Coalition was illuminating. You know, him having the prowess to find points of interest with people he had conflict with was you don't really see that now, but he didn't compromise his love for blackness and love for the black community in the same breath. That for me was just an eye-opening revelation when digging deep into it.
I know that Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. was on set. Did you get a chance to talk to him at all or any of the other members of the family to kind of learn more about his father, and what insight did he bring to you?
We spoke about stuff. We definitely spoke about stuff, and he kind of highlighted and kind of made all of us aware of the stakes that are at play here, you know, and who the details that wouldn't make the film, and the details about the people that we were playing. And he really did an incredible job activating us, you know. Like, I remember Mama Akua and Chairman Fred Jr. took us to the side at lunch break and we had a political education class essentially. And we all felt revitalized as a product of it. I mean, we was focused, but it refocused the focus, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love hearing that. I think that there's so many parallels that we can take from watching this movie to apply to today in the fight for equality. What do you want people to, when they're watching this, to take away in order to, you know, incite the change and activism inside themselves?
Knowing that the power of loving your own community, you know, like taking care of your own community and being there for people around you, and doing it in really functional ways. You know, it's like, because the Black Panther Party, you know, they healed the sick, they educated kids, they fed kids, they offered free legal aid. You know, they did things that gave people the tools in order to liberate themselves so they can actualize themselves for themselves, you know, from themselves. And so that is something I would love people to highlight and kind of focus on.
Playing someone like this that is so kind of iconic, yet some people I think have a different viewpoint on, that maybe they don't know who he is. Does that add to the challenge of wanting to take this on, or was there any reservations, or was it all just, I'm going to do it, I'm going to go in and take it on?
There was no reservations in that sense. I thought the reasons that everyone was making this project was incredible. The project on paper was incredible, and it was exciting, and it was the man's words are just so profound, and so I'd never really heard anyone think this way. You know what I mean? And so it was like, I knew going into this, it was like, wow, I have to really grow as a human being to even be able to say these words. And I love growth, so I stepped into that direction.
I felt like I knew who he was because of your performance. I saw him in a different light, a new light that I just didn't know about until I saw you portray him in this film. How do you feel like your activism has changed since taking on the story and learning more about it?
I believe I'm more of an actionist. You know, I believe I'm out there doing stuff, and I just do things. You know, I've done stuff since I was 16 years old, and in my own way. Do you know what I mean? My mum doing things in our own way, just figuring stuff out and helping people when we help people and doing what we're doing. And I think for me, learning more about the Black Panther Party and Chairman Fred, it shows the importance of making sure that whatever you do, making that organized, you know, and giving it a constant stream and creating an infrastructure, and how valuable that can be to the people that is receiving it, you know. And just because, you know, just because you love them, just because you care about them, and you want them to be the best versions of themselves for themselves.
Well, thank you so much. Great. I love hearing that. Fabulous work in this movie. I always love when I see your name attached to a project. I always know it's going to be a force, and you're so phenomenal. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Man, take care, man. Appreciate you.
KSTP, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Lakeith, it is a real honor talking to you today. I loved this movie, and your performance is brilliant, and how you play the duality of what William was going through was fantastic. So thank you for this film.
Thank you. I like your.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. How familiar were you with William O'Neill before reading the script?
Just from what I saw in the documentary from Eyes on the Prize, just a little snippet, and yeah, that was pretty much it. I just remember watching the documentary and being like, that guy, I do not like him. You know?
Interesting. I haven't seen that documentary, but I'm fascinated to now go back and watch it. How do you think the history books have gotten it wrong regarding the story of Fred Hampton and the mission of the Black Panther Party?
Well, first of all, they don't really mention him enough. You know, a lot of the books don't even have him in there, let alone what they got wrong. But, you know, a lot of them books, they get wrong what they want to get wrong. They want to tell the story they want to tell. So that's what I'm saying. You got to do your own research and figure out what the truth is on your own. If you're relying on history books, you might get a little bit of some truth, but you ain't gonna get it all. You gotta, you know, do your own research as much as you can. But you know, there's a concerted effort by those who win the war to try and paint a picture that's not accurate. So you just got to know that. And yeah, I think this is just a further reinforcement of that idea that it's a shame that some people got to get their history through a movie, you know, but it is what it is.
I know you got to talk to, did you get a chance to talk to Chairman Fred Jr. on the set, or anyone else really involved in the story to kind of gain more insight into the turmoil that William O'Neill was going through?
No, I didn't really talk to Chairman Fred Jr. much on set. For the role that I was playing, I didn't think it was necessary, and I thought that it might actually not be good. I wanted to kind of keep my distance and approach it that way. But afterwards, I talked to Fred a lot. And he's a really great, insightful revolutionary, and you know, provided just levels and levels of game. And man, I'm so glad he was on set. He helped us really find the balance and made sure that we wasn't going to fall in the wrong direction. So
right. It was great talking to him earlier. He said to me, "Hot politics and hot food." And it was like a great line that he said.
Yeah, crazy.
What was that?
So you got them crazy one-liners and it just stick with you.
Yeah. Now, when I was watching the movie, I felt like there was just so many comparisons that we can make to today, what's happening today with the fight for racial equality, which is what's so important about movies like this and these stories. How do you think that we can take Fred's story and the mission of the Black Panther Party to then apply it to today?
You know, when the Black Panther Party was around, they were vilified by the media and oftentimes by the white public, because they didn't understand what they were about, and the propaganda led them to believe, moving out of fear, that these were some black dudes who wanted to come shoot you and take your children and mess with your wife, and all these old tropes of white, like American fear of black people. So to me, the white consciousness now, what you can do is do your homework, be out there supporting us, be on the front lines of the protest. When somebody like George Floyd gets shot, you need to be in the front of the line saying, you know, no, this isn't, because, you know, there have been so many years where the benefit was off of the misinterpretation of white people. And that's been such a harm, and they are the majority in the country. And so if you really truly feel that you understand and connect to what it is that we're saying, then you need to be out there supporting us. And then you should be happy to do that, as we would do for you if something of injustice happened to you, you know, as we've done over the years, you know, held you on our back. So, yeah, I'm just saying, like, you know, yeah, go out there and support the movie, support the movement, and, you know, just be honest and be real. And, you know, that don't mean that you got to be like faking like you care about something. That means really find out reasons why you connect to this, go to the reality of it. Now, if you think it's justified that somebody got shot down at age 21 with 100 shots from the police department just for saying, power where there's people, and starting a Rainbow Coalition and starting a free breakfast program. Now, if you think that's wrong, then you exist in your own. I don't know what's good with you, but if you know what we most collectively understand and know, then next time I'm out there protesting, I want to see you out there. If they do something that was an injustice,
I love that. Thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. I love this movie. I really hope that people get a chance to watch it and really think about it and apply this to what's happening today. STP, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Jesse, I am really excited to talk to you today. I've just been in awe of your career ever since Friday Night Lights. You've taken on some fantastic projects, phenomenal directors, and this movie, Judas and the Black Messiah, is brilliant. So congratulations on such a powerful film.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. How familiar were you with the story of Fred Hampton and William O'Neill before taking this on?
I would say I had a peripheral knowledge of the story. I knew the name, and I knew that he was young when he died. I didn't know that so blatantly an assassination. And I would say it was definitely quite the education.
How do you think that the history books have gotten his story and the mission of the Black Panther Party wrong throughout these years?
Well, I would say at least the misconception that I was brought up on was that, I always understood the fight for equality, but there's this notion that, it was ultra violent and all of this, which there was a reason for that, oppression over centuries. But the fact that was only one part of it, and the goal was to lift people up, lift the communities up, feed the communities, educate the communities. So it was much more involved than I feel like it is usually represented.
Mm-hmm. Did you get a chance to talk to either anyone involved back then in kind of your research into this project?
Fred Hampton Jr. was around quite a bit. And I got to talk to him. A few times, and he's just a fascinating, great presence to have on set, and a wealth of information. I didn't speak to anyone with Mitchell's camp because we were sort of deviating slightly from, playing that exactly as he was. But I didn't talk to a ton of people, but I did. There was a lot of information that Shaka sent our way.
Right. Oh, when I was watching it, there's just so many parallels that can be drawn to today's fight for equality. How do you think we can take Fred's story and apply it to the issues today?
I think his dogged determination, and he was unrelenting, and the resolve that he had at 20. I mean, even before that, he started his work when he was a teenager, and he was just unflinching in his pursuit of equality, and it's something that is really, I think you do see it in some of the younger people today, and it's something that I think we could all learn from. Just his drive, and also his abilities as a speaker, is something that really took me aback.
Has working on this film changed how you approach your own activism in real life, or given you a different sense of direction or purpose?
Definitely. It's we finished this film December of 2019, so it was right before 2020, and it felt necessary then. And oops, sorry about that. And yeah, it definitely feels even more necessary now. But if anything, it's just made me want to do more, to learn more, to donate whenever, whatever I can, and yeah, I mean, not sit idly by and think someone else is going to take care of this. It's everyone's responsibility.
Yeah, I love that. I think we're all trying to find how can we use our own voice platform to affect the change that we want. And movies like this are just so helpful in that. It's been great talking to you. I have to tell you, when the pandemic started, I had to go and rewatch Friday Night Lights just to give me some peace of mind, some clarity, because that show is just so brilliant. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Have a great day, Jesse.
Two, or did you watch season 2 as well?
Well, I've seen it before, so I was kind of more focused on the back end, but I know what you're talking about with season 2. But clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. I mean, that just put me in a better place of mind early on.
Right on. Well, good talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
Take care.
You too. Minneapolis, St. Paul. Hello, everyone. It is really great talking to you. This movie really blew me away and really opened my eyes up to who Fred Hampton was, and kind of changed how I thought about the Black Panther Party, because I just didn't know a lot about it. So thank you very much for this film. Ashton, I want to start with you because you were phenomenal in Moonlight. So I just want to get that out of the way. That movie was a masterpiece that had such a deep impact on me. So thank you for that too. How do you think that the history books have led us astray on who Fred Hampton and the Black Panther Party was?
I think that's exactly what the history books did do. They led us astray to who Fred Hampton was and who the Black Panther Party was. I think in history books, the Black Panther Party is characterized to be a hate group against America. And, that's what a lot of people know it to be. Or on the other hand, if you are African American, then you know the Black Panther Party to only be what you know it to be. And so I think this movie is not only shedding light on who the Black Panther Party was authentically in their intentions, but also obviously shedding light on who Fred Hampton was, and specifically the Chicago Black Panther Party and what he was doing with that.
Algie, you started in Detroit and The Hate U Give, and now this, all three really about heavy topics that should inspire conversation. Are you actively drawn to tell these types of stories?
I am drawn to it, yes. It's not on purpose, though. I feel like these certain stories have come to me, they've come my way. I've read the scripts and I just fell in love with it. So I feel like I had to put myself in that part. I don't think it's by coincidence, though. I feel like the higher power and the way the stars align just knows everything that needs to happen. And I'm just put in a certain position to do a certain thing. So I've just been blessed enough to actually be in films and content that is put out on a wide scale that actually talks about real issues that go back in the history books, or not even history books, that you'll be able to go back to in 20 years from now and look at it and still be educated on what you need to be educated about.
Yeah, I think it's that. I love that answer, and just how the world works in a very, very specific way. Dominique, has working on this film changed your activism in real life?
I wouldn't say that it's changed it. I think that if anything, it has affirmed it. I think that sort of like we're hinting to at this conversation, the need to educate myself and to become active was all sort of done by the self or by my community and the people around me. It was a self-education. It was an internal need or desire to be involved. As soon as you sort of think as a Black individual, as soon as you reach a certain age, as soon as you come to the realization or the acceptance of what that means, of what that weight is to be a Black person in America, I think the need to address it is followed up quite soon with some form of activism. So it was an honor to be able to be active in this particular way.
How do you think that we can take what's happening back then and then apply directly today? Because I saw so many parallels between what is going on today. What would you want audiences to take away from this movie and apply to what's happening today?
I would just say one of the biggest things that rings out to me is there's power wherever there's people. And that means unity. And we just talked about this in a previous interview, but Dominique was just saying that the main thing that's being reiterated there is just there's strength in numbers. There's power, there's people. So if people all have a united viewpoint and stance that they're very strong-willed about, then there can be power wherever that is. And any type of thing can be overthrown with the right amount of time. And I think that's the thing that just rings out. So it's like if we are as passionate as we say we are about these certain things, then we should all just be remembering that there's power wherever there's people in any type of nationality or gender. That's what the Rainbow Coalition was. It's like it doesn't matter your ethnicity, it doesn't matter where you stand on there. It's just we all have the same mindset on this justice and this equality.
Well, thank you. I love the conversation today. So thank you so much for being a part of this project. It was very eye-opening, very engaging. I really hope people go either to the theater or to HBO Max to watch this film. It's stunning. So thank you.
Oh, appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Paul McGuire Grimes, KSTP, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Chairman Fred, it is an honor talking to you today. This movie was so eye-opening, so engaging. I really loved everything about it. When you heard that they were going to be making a movie about your dad, what went through your head, and what was it specifically that you wanted to make sure that they got right?
We guarded. There have been a number of different attempts brought to my family, to myself, my mother in particular, whether movies, the unauthorized books, to attempt to hijack the legacy of Chairman Fred. So our initial response was, here we go again. That was the initial response, and it was been a long process, tug and pull, meetings. Sometimes step back, so it's a no-go, to get to this stage. It's been a long labor of love. It wasn't an easy road. It's not an easy road because the deal is ongoing.
Mm-hmm. Your father's been the character portrayed in 2 movies this past year. Why do you think it is right now that we're talking about your dad?
People get involved in struggle or recognize struggle, one of 3 ways: inspiration, aspiration, or desperation. I think these are desperate times, and in many cases, as we've seen the Black Panther Party, I think it's important to put in context. Though the Black Panther Party was organized during the tenure of other U.S. presidents, but that time and of U.S. President Richard Milhouse Nixon, who came out to campaign for law and order, those repressive conditions, it forced many people to say, "Whoa, wait a minute, who are those individuals over there?" Today, I chair the Black Panther Party cause many people have not recognized work we've been doing for over 2 decades. But now, it's prime time. You know what I'm saying? We in many cases, we like the last call for alcohol. People recognize us and doing dire conditions. Yes, indeed.
What do you think the history books have gotten wrong about your father or the Black Panther Party? What have they gotten wrong? What should we be knowing about him? Because I think that this movie really just opens people's minds up to who he really was and that authentic self.
I think we should premise with the fact that it's not by happenstance, it's not by mistake that many revisions of history have gotten it wrong. I think it's not by happenstance or coincidence that not only the school system, but households have either attempted to obliterate or malign the legacy of the Black Panther Party. The deal is the Black Panther Party fought for a precious entity of self-determination to speak for itself, to represent itself, and that challenges, the economy, the livelihood of institutions that were built, that were born and built and thrive of people being subjugated. Black Panther Party stood up, and when you stand up, if someone is on your back, other dynamics, they fall off. So that we should premise it with that, but in particular, that of an organization that was willing to, in many cases, subsequently sacrificed and paid the ultimate price for the people.
Mm-hmm. I love hearing that. Thank you. Is it a sigh of relief when you hear that Daniel Kaluuya, who, as amazing as he is going to be able to portray your father? Because he's a force in this film. I felt like I knew who your father was by Daniel's performance.
I haven't had the opportunity to sit back and from an actual viewer to relax. Again, we're coming in with critical analysis, and it's been it's been ongoing I don't want to throw a lid on it. Everything from just even with the initial, one of the initial trailers, some people see just him walking up. Those, I think, approximately 7 to 8 times shooting that scene. The emphasis on the walk, scenes where actually some of my comrades was there when he spoke, and just the emphasis on the body language. So we're taking this. All of this in. I don't want to. This is we say it's a protracted struggle. This is ongoing. The respect that we, and the communication we still have to this day is ongoing.
While I was watching it, I felt like I was making so many parallels to what is happening today. How do you think that we can take your dad's story and mission of the Black Panther Party and apply it to the issues that so many people are facing today in terms of racial inequalities and trying to find the activist in ourselves to create change in our environment, in our communities?
Recognize that there are individuals and organizations that are right here today. In many cases, I think we wait till things are safe to speak on. There was a situation, I think, in the late 1980s before Muhammad Ali's physical death, and they were placing Muhammad Ali on the front of a Wheaties box cereal. And they said, why would you put him on there now? Why not before? And the representative for Wheaties cereal said, we're doing it now because he's safe. Do not wait till we become a safe subject to acknowledge, in the Black Panther Party cause right now as we speak. The struggle is happening right now. So our position is we serve hot food and we serve hot politics.
Hot food and hot politics.
Yes,
I have not heard that in a junket yet, that I've done. So that is like a great way to end this. So thank you very much. Hot food and hot politics. I love it. Thank you so much, Chairman Fred. It was a real honor talking to you today. Thank you.
Thank you. My honor.